Hi guys, Sweet Chris here. And in this August installment of NetSuite News, we're going to be taking a look and really deep diving into SuiteWorld, which is coming up in just a couple weeks at this point. So this entire video is just going to be taking a look at what SuiteWorld is, the various components of it, and some highlights and really just some advice in terms of going to SuiteWorld. And certainly if you are going, you're going to want to stick around till the end of the video because I'm going to talk about a course giveaway that I will be offering for people who do find me at SuiteWorld itself. Now, if you're not planning on actually attending NetSuite, you can still participate and watch some of the keynote speeches and some of the events in the Expo Hall by basically tapping into the live feed that they're going to have. They call it on air, and basically they're just going to have on the website just a constant feed of various videos and things that are happening at SuiteWorld. So you can always tune in, check that out, and you can also, if you don't want to necessarily tune in at the exact moment, there will be videos like the keynote speeches, certain seminars, and just things and kind of activities around the Expo Hall will be included as videos that will be released on the Oracle NetSuite YouTube channel. So you can always take advantage of that as well. So first off, let's take a look at the dates for SuiteWorld. It basically goes from September 9th until the 12th. But if you want to take advantage of the pre-event training that they have, and I'll talk about that a little more in a second, that actually starts on Sunday, which is the 8th. So that goes Sunday and Monday. And if you're just a normal SuiteWorld attendee, basically the 9th, which is Monday, is really like a sign-in day. So you're going to be flying in, you check into your hotel, you sign in at the hotel where SuiteWorld is being held itself. And there's a couple other things that are going to be happening on that day, but really it's kind of a throwaway as the check-in day. And similarly, the last day, Thursday, so it technically goes into the 9th to the 12th, but Thursday really only has a few things going on in the early part of the day, and then that's it. So it's kind of like a wind down day. There's not much happening. And I know a lot of people that will go to the party that happens, kind of the closing party on Wednesday night, and then fly out Thursday morning and not even bother with Thursday. So you got to think with really Tuesday and Wednesday are the main convention days. Now, when you're taking a look at SuiteWorld, you can really break it down into some of the major components and activities that you can engage in when you go to SuiteWorld. And really taking it chronologically, the first thing that you can take advantage of is this pre-event training that I just mentioned. So that's not strictly part of SuiteWorld. It's something that comes before it, and you do have to pay for the pre-training totally in addition to whatever costs you have for the convention itself. And basically, it's a full day and a half where you take advantage of some particular subject. They have about 10 topics overall that you can take, and some of them are definitely very helpful. They have one on more advanced workflows. They have one on formulas for safe searches. They have one on suite analytics. So these are definitely areas that are valuable to get a kind of a crash course training on. However, the funny thing is, one of the biggest reasons people take advantage of the pre-event training is because they do a training session basically for Suite Foundation, or you can take one for the administrator certification. So again, for a day and a half, you'll basically study up on and prepare for both of those certifications or either or certification. Again, it costs $2,000. Really up until this point, if you actually want to sign up at this point, you get the late fee. So it's now $2,500. And obviously, to some degree, I'm quite biased. I have my own Suite Foundation prep course and the administrator's prep course. Objectively, the facts on both sides, it's very hard for me to recommend something like that as opposed to my own courses or really anything else. But again, just be aware those things are there, and the other pre-event training sessions with Suite Analytics, etc., those definitely can be very valuable. So that's the pre-event training. The first event of the actual convention is the keynote speeches, which occur at the end of the day on Monday. And honestly, in my opinion, the keynote speeches are really just a marketing pitch. I would highly recommend skipping them. And that's mainly because it's basically a bunch of NetSuite executives that are going out for 1 to 2 hours and kind of almost stroking their own feathers about NetSuite as a company and as a product. They talk about how great it is and how it's also coming out with all these amazing features and it's so cutting edge. And frankly, I just find it to be not that informative. And I'm especially annoyed with the keynote speeches that occurred last year because they literally went on and on about how amazing the new AI technology is and how NetSuite is really infusing that in everything they're doing. And they just went on a whole hype train about AI and NetSuite. And then it's now been a full year since then, and they've actually released about a handful of products that have anything to do with AI, and only really one or two that I consider in any way actually useful. So that obviously didn't come to fruition. And then funny enough, in this keynote speech, no doubt they're going to be talking again on and on about AI. And yet we already know the next release that's coming up, which is going to be in a couple months. And we know what's coming out with that release. And there's maybe one or two things that, again, have anything to do with AI, and neither of them are groundbreaking. So for that reason, the entire keynote speech, they do some kind of theatrical stuff, which is fine. But in terms of actually getting information and coming away with some sort of useful insight, as opposed to just a PR message, I find the keynote speeches are a complete waste of time. And you can really just save yourself the effort, check into your hotel, take it easy that night, and then really come in guns blazing on Tuesday. Which brings me to the next major aspect of SuiteWorld, which really is their sessions, their workshops, their learning labs, all of these seminar style things that they do where they impart knowledge about NetSuite. And that's honestly one of the major reasons a lot of clients go, is the fact that they provide over 100 different various modules. Some of them are very specific, like how to do certain types of data imports. Some of them are just kind of general tips and tricks or career paths for NetSuite developers. Just a very, very wide range of seminars. And again, they come in different forms. Some of them are technically learning labs, some of them are sessions or workshops, etc. But the concept is the same. The SuiteWorld is basically held in a couple major hotels in Las Vegas. And amongst these hotels, they have all of these different breakout rooms. They're spread out all over the place, and they're sometimes small rooms or sometimes mid-sized, and they'll have some sort of a speaker show up and they'll provide some kind of insight on a particular subject. You can look at the whole roster online, and you can really work out an agenda of subjects that you want to gain more information about. Now, in terms of the usefulness of them, it's a little bit hard to comment on just because it really depends on the speaker themselves. But in general, I've attended ones that are great. I've attended ones that are just mediocre, but there's no question that overall, the sessions are definitely a major drawing point for clients, and certainly overall, they're an excellent resource to take advantage of. One tip though I have to give you in relation to that is the fact that when you go to SuiteWorld, especially if you're attending a lot of sessions, you're going to be doing an enormous amount of walking. You might have at 1 hour, you might be in one location, and then the next hour you need to be at a session on the opposite end of the spectrum. Then you might have to eat literally a half mile away, and then others in different locations. You're just going to constantly be walking pretty much no matter what you do at SuiteWorld, even just between your hotel and the actual SuiteWorld convention itself, and then walking around the Expo Hall, etc. A huge amount of walking. Be sure to have comfortable walking shoes. Don't bring around really heavy bags that you're going to immediately regret, and then don't also overdress. Or I've noticed some people come with these really nice fancy suits on, and you got to keep in mind this is going to be Las Vegas in early September, so it's going to be hot. There's going to be a huge amount of walking. Just take it easy on yourself. Also, don't overdo it on Monday or Tuesday because you might regret it come Wednesday. So just make sure you're thinking with that, kind of pace yourself, and definitely have comfortable walking shoes. The next major component of SuiteWorld is, of course, the Expo Hall itself. And as you can imagine, for any convention like Comic-Con, it's basically a giant room, and it's filled with different activities and booths and just general things related to NetSuite. Now, I wouldn't say it's the most thrilling thing in the world. We are obviously talking about NetSuite here, but they definitely have made an effort and done a pretty good job of having a lot of different little activities and things that are entertaining and are of interest to people that are attending the convention. So kind of taking the activities and the finger food and that kind of stuff aside, there's really two major things to see and take advantage of when you go into the Expo Hall. The first being, of course, the booths themselves. So there's these rows and rows of different booths where they have third-party vendors with apps and things like that. And they also have consulting agencies. So all the major consulting companies such as RSM, Myers Holem, Bryant Park Consulting, Anderson Frank, they all have booths. And if you want to take advantage of their services, like if you want to switch off of NetSuite ACS, for example, and you want to look at a support option with one of these consulting companies, you can always take advantage of that. So the booths are obviously, if you're looking for products and you want to check out a bunch of different things, the booths can be great. In general, my biggest complaint with them is they often do not have the capability to provide demos. So they're going to try to get your contact info and they can maybe answer some questions. Or sometimes they'll have like a little video presentation they can show you, but rarely do they actually have the ability to walk you through a demo and have you actually interact with the product so that you can be comfortable that it's something that you could utilize on your own company. So that's one thing that I find as a complaint. I really think you should just judge, are you going to NetSuite looking for products or looking for specific types of solutions? And then secondly, the second major area of the Expo Hall is this area where they basically have, they're not booths, but they're like these panels and they have a screen on either side of it. And then a person that's standing there who can provide a demo of whatever it is. And so they have all of the NetSuite products available there. So everything from WMS to field service management, fixed asset management, suite billing, all of these different features and modules that are available with NetSuite, they all have them on a different panel and a person who can demo that thing. And I think that's a great resource, especially if you're looking at some specific module or feature that you might want to add in the future. Just go through there, check it out, do the demos, ask them questions. You can also, there will be other people, so they'll ask questions and you just get a good insight on what some of these products are like. And then one thing in particular I recommend, again, especially if you're looking for a particular solution, let's say a warehouse management solution and kind of inventory management, is go in, check out the WMS demo, walk through it, ask questions, and then immediately go over and talk to the RF Smart guys at the booths or any other solution providers for inventory management and kind of jockey the two solutions back and forth and get a feel for yourself of which is the best solution for your company. So that's one thing that's great about the Expo Hall is they're really right there and you can get that immediate feedback and comparison between competing products, both from the NetSuite side as well as from the third-party app side. So those are really the major events and especially informative activities that you can do at NetSuite. But there are a number of other activities. For example, at the end of each night, the NetSuite and SuiteWorld really organizes these receptions. They're really meet and greets where they'll provide food and you can network with other companies, with consultant agencies, NetSuite representatives, etc. I haven't personally actually gone to their receptions. Usually there's receptions being held by other vendors or companies and stuff like that. So oftentimes I'm going to specific receptions, but I've heard good things about it. Certainly the food is good. And I've just in general heard that they do a great job setting them up and organizing them. So you can take advantage of that. And I just want to comment overall, I personally find that the food at NetSuite and SuiteWorld is actually quite good. I was pretty surprised the first time that I dealt with the food. Basically, they have a huge tent that they set up right next to the convention center in the hotel. And even though it is outside and it can be a little bit hot, they have lots of fans, so they do the best to kind of keep things cool throughout the day. And it's buffet style, so they have a ton of tables. You can sit wherever you want. You can keep to yourself or you can mingle with other clients. And you can just take whatever food you want. The food is pretty good. Honestly, again, there was not a single meal that I found was not decent or actually quite good. So if you have specific eating requirements, or if you're on keto, something like that, you might have a little bit of difficulty. But also keep in mind you're in Las Vegas, so there's plenty of other restaurants. There's lots of other eating options. Personally, you're going to find me eating at least once a day at In-N-Out because I live in Florida and I have no other opportunity. But if you want to check out the food scene, it's quite extensive in Las Vegas and you have a lot of opportunities. And if you want to just eat at the convention center, the food is great, so take advantage of it. I should comment on the fact that in addition to the SuiteWorld activities themselves, you do need to keep in mind you are in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is built and bred on having activities and things to take up people's time. So there's shows, there's magic events, there's the Cirque du Soleil, there's obviously, if you're into gambling, there's plenty of opportunities for that. There's bars and clubs and just about anything that you can think of as an activity, you can find some way to do that in Las Vegas. Two particular highlights I want to comment on. One is the Sphere. It's literally a giant sphere looking thing, and you go inside it and has all these panels that can provide almost like a movie experience, but surrounding you as opposed to just in front of you. It's quite impressive. It didn't completely blow my mind, but it was a pretty cool experience for the money. And they also sometimes have concerts there. So there'll be a band performing, and then they'll have a light show kind of happening all around you. So that's pretty interesting. And then they also have, these are kind of like major landmarks in Las Vegas. You can't miss the Sphere. And then they also have the High Roller, which is this giant Ferris wheel. In general, I would say the High Roller is actually not that great because the whole point is you get in these gondolas and it takes you to the top. So you have this panoramic view of Las Vegas. But Las Vegas is A, in a desert, and B, not the prettiest city in general, so I wouldn't recommend just doing it at high noon. But if you go at sunset, it can be pretty cool because there's the mountains in the background and the sun setting into it. So that can be quite nice. And I'm pretty sure on Tuesday and Wednesday, the High Roller is like a featured event from some third-party vendors where they'll actually let you go in for free and you can kind of take advantage of it at that time. You take the promo from the third-party vendors, and it's kind of a cool way to take advantage of the High Roller. So those are two particular highlights that I recommend, but overall, just take advantage of Las Vegas as it is. And the last thing I'm going to comment on, specifically in regards to SuiteWorld, is that on Wednesday night, they basically have a wrap-up party. They literally call it the party. It's basically like a spa pool area that they set up like a concert venue, and everyone shows up. You kind of hang around and you can watch the show. In the past, they've had Jason Derulo and One Republic. This year is Journey. I had no idea that Journey is still touring, but if you're into Journey, then by all means, take advantage of that. It's a shorter concert, so it's not like they have an opening act and a whole, encore and all that stuff. It's maybe like an hour, hour and a half, but certainly it's entertaining, especially if you like the musical act. And I think they had free drinks. I don't 100% remember that, but it's kind of, you just hang out. I certainly wouldn't qualify it as a party. Certainly if you want to go to the bar or club scene, you should take advantage of that separately. But it's a cool environment. You can hang out with people, have some drinks, and watch the show. And it's just a good environment in general, and certainly was enjoyable. So that's it on the kind of overview and run through of SuiteWorld and all its various activities. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I am going to be having a course giveaway. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be at SuiteWorld, obviously. And if you find me there, just come up to me and say hi, and I'll give you a coupon to have a free course. Not necessarily one of my bundles, but any course that I have, any individual course, the coupon will allow you to purchase it totally for free. Through most of the convention, of course, I am going to be talking to a lot of people. So if you see that I'm already talking to someone, you don't have to hover and wait for me to be free. Just go up, you can interrupt, it's fine. Just be polite and say, hey, I follow you on YouTube. I'd like to take advantage of the coupons, and I can kind of quickly help you out. So that's the first giveaway, but I do want to provide a second one, which is for those of you who are more social media inclined and do a lot of postings, and especially of your trip during SuiteWorld. If you come up to me and actually take a photo with me, post it on social media, whether LinkedIn or Facebook, I really don't mind. If you post that and provide some kind of a positive comment or description of SuperTraining, and just let me know, you can email it to me or send me the link, whatever, I'll send you an additional coupon, which will allow you to have another course for 50% off. So between those two coupons, if you just find me at SuiteWorld and do that, you could, for example, do your Suite Foundation and your Administrator Prep certifications for basically $50. So there's a lot of value to be had from that. In terms of actually finding me at SuiteWorld, I will be in the Expo Hall quite a bit, but your best shot at actually locating me is during the meal times, because they're quite long to accommodate for everybody. I tend to pretend like I'm eating, and I'll hop from table to table to talk to people, get feedback, and also just kind of hear people's pain points and get that real feedback on the NetSuite clients of what they like, what they don't with NetSuite, and kind of where they see things going. So if you kind of look out and look for the guy who's pretending to eat and just constantly talking to random people, you'll oftentimes find me, and you can just go up to me and get a coupon. So with that, hopefully this video was helpful, and I hope to see you at SuiteWorld.